Welcome, dear listeners, to another podcast of the chapters of Bhagwat Gita. I sincerely hope that the chapter 4 on transcendental knowledge you would have liked it, and I hope that the next session would be informative to you as well. Today I'm going to talk on chapter 6, which is based on Dhyan Yoga. Like I said in my previous session, I base the content of my talks on the book Bhagwat Gita as it is by Sri A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Um, Today's Dhyan Yoga chapter is again split into 4 sections, as I mentioned in the previous video as well, that I try to split each section, um, each chapter into different sections, and then each section will focus on a particular topic, so then it becomes easier for all of us to understand. And as I said before as well, that my intention is to make it easier for people like me who's into IT and the other backgrounds, who are not into um, too much of the practices of yoga, etc., to understand what this really is, what this means, and how should um, we imbibe the knowledge that it is imparted to us. So let me just go through the sections. So section 1 explains the differences between a true yogi and one who is not a yogi. Section 2 dwells upon the benefits of controlling one's mind. Section 3 talks about the methods of performing yoga. And section 4 discusses what happens to a person who tries to follow yoga but is unsuccessful. Now, this, according to me, um, is the essence of this chapter. And personally, for me, it was very important to understand that okay, I'm trying to follow a yogic path, um, but if because of several reasons I'm unable to follow it completely, then what happens? Do I get anything? Do I Can I connect to the Lord? Um, or if I cannot, then should I stop doing it completely? So some of the answers the Lord gives Himself in this section. So let's jump on to section 1, which is the differences between a true yogi and one who is not a yogi. So what does Lord say? He says that detachment to the fruits of one's action is compulsory. A person should perform the work he is obligated to is a true yogi, as compared to a person who does not perform yajna or his duties that includes sacrifices. He clarifies that yoga is same as linking oneself to the supreme God through renunciation. A person cannot become a yogi unless he renounces the desire for sense gratification. Gita also provides us with the differences between a new yogi and a seasoned yogi. For a new yogi, their work is said to be means. However, for those who are already elevated in yoga, cessation of all material activities, which goes one step beyond your work itself, is said to be the means. Such a yogi renounces their material desires and does not engage in either sense gratification or in fruitive activities. Krishna shows us all a way to both achieve a greater satisfaction in everything we love to do and to achieve excellence in. Just as a yogi follows the path of detachment and renunciation, we must also make sacrifices in our lives and concentrate consciously in our work to achieve greater heights. Now, for people like us who may be students who are attending schools, colleges, universities, or trying to achieve something in your work, trying to do a project, etc., it could mean setting aside a time when you focus on the work that you are doing, you focus on the studies that you are engaged in, and giving up your favorite, maybe video games, for example. For other people, it could mean that you give up some precious time of your social media time. So these are all sacrifices that one has to make to do anything better. Section 2 highlights the benefits one can achieve by controlling your mind. Gita says our mind can be our best friend if we learn to control it, and at the same time, it can be our enemy if we don't. Now, by enemy here in this context, it means that it will keep you away from your goals, or at least it can make it harder for you to achieve your goals. A person has controlled his mind if happiness and distress, heat and cold, dishonor and honor all appear the same. He attains tranquility and reaches the supersoul which is connected to the Lord. By the virtue of his acquired knowledge and realization, he is fully satisfied day in and day out. He is said to have achieved self-realization and is called a yogi. Gita further goes on to stand out the person who is advanced in yogic practices. Such a person regards honest well-wishers, affectionate benefactors, the neutral mediators, the envious friends and enemies, the pious and the sinners, all with equal mind. This is a great lesson for all of us, according to me. Lesson of success, that success and loss should not drive our actions and ambitions. If we start thinking about how our knowledge and skill can be helpful to make our society better, we would perhaps have taken the very first steps of becoming a yogi. Let's move on to section 3. In the third section, it discusses the environment where yogic practices should be performed, the body postures one should have, and the benefits one will derive by performing the yogic practices in its purest form. The aim of yoga should be to engage your body, mind, and soul with the Supreme Lord. It is advised that we should live alone in a secluded, quiet place where we can focus. We must practice to free ourselves from desires and being possessive of material things. You should sit on a comfortable seat with correct height. The yogi should sit firmly and ensure that his head and spine are straight. They should meditate to focus on Krishna and make him the ultimate goal of life. Complete control of the body, mind, and activities should lead the yogi to attain the kingdom of God. Krishna emphasizes through his teachings to Arjun that we should aim to lead a balanced life if we want to become a yogi. We cannot become a yogi if we sleep too much or not sleep at all, or eat too much or not eat enough. It says, Yuktahara viharasya yukta cheshtasya karmasu yukta swapnavabodhasya yogo bhavati duhkaha. This means, he who is regulated in his habits of eating, sleeping, recreation, and work can mitigate all material pains by practicing the yoga system. It further says, Yatha dipo nivatastho nengate sopama smrita yogino yat chitasya yunjato yogamatamana. And this means, as a lamp in windless place does not waver, so a yogi remain steady following Krishna consciousness. Eventually, in the state of perfect samadhi, one's mind is completely restrained from material activities to the practice of yoga. Again, important lessons can be learned from this section. We may be undertaking a project or doing a degree in education, or likewise, we should always focus our attention, make sure we have the correct table and chair to sit on and work from, and that we sleep well and eat healthy and keep our minds healthy as well. Then moving on to section 4, this last section focuses on someone who wants to become a true yogi but in the end is unable to. In that situation, should one continue to follow this path or should they stop? Arjun raised a very pertinent question to Krishna. He said that the path you have suggested is difficult and sounds impractical since our minds are very fickle and is wavering all the time. It is restless, turbulent, and obstinate, and extremely difficult to control. Arjun further asks that are those who veer away from the path of transcendence either because they found it too difficult or because of other worldly responsibilities find themselves with no position in any sphere? The Lord clarifies Arjun's doubts by saying that anyone who engages in auspicious activities and attempts to follow the path of yoga honestly does not meet with destruction either in this world or the next. The unsuccessful yogi will indeed take a rebirth, but he will be born into a family of righteous people or into a family of aristocracy. Such a birth is rare in this world, and upon taking such a birth, the person will continue to make further progress to achieve complete success. He will be automatically attracted to yogic principles, and if he continues to make progress with sincerity and honesty, he will attain the supreme goal. And of all yogis, the one with faith and belief in me and one who performs the transcendental service to me is the highest of all in my opinion. So, O Arjun, in all circumstances, be a yogi. This final section again gives us a very strong message and a signal as to why both Dhyan Yog and Karma Yog are such powerful tools in all ages to free oneself and to attain success in whatever we wish to embark upon. Om Shanti. So this ends chapter 6 about Dhyan Yog. I hope I've managed to do justice to this chapter, and I hope that I've shared the message of this chapter with all of you. If you've liked the video, I would very much like you to subscribe it, like it, put your comments in this video so that I can endeavor to make it better. If you have any questions, then you can write them as well, and I will try to answer them. So until the next section or until the next chapter, be good, be safe, and I will see you soon. Bye.